In today's video, we're going to talk about the Pixel 9 Pro, specifically the 9 Pro XL and the 9 Pro Fold. They're both considered to be Pro devices because they're named Pixel 9 Pro, and Google provided us a slightly different experience. One of them is a foldable and one of them is a large form factor of the standard size Pixel 9 Pro. And the reason why I'm putting these two devices head to head today is because I've been using them for about 2 months now, and one of the biggest things I probably will say is, although they both carry the 9 Pro moniker, the Pro experience is slightly different on the Fold than it is on the XL. And we're going to go ahead and put them head to head today and basically make a decision at the end of this video, which one should be the right one for you. Last but not least, of course, we're going to also cover the brand new buds from Google. They released them at the same time as both of these devices. And how has it been using them for the last couple of months? This is TK. Let's go ahead and check them out and see which one should be the right one for you. Like and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos for you on the channel. And I also want to say thank you very much to Team Pixel for providing us these units to be able to check them out and share with you our experiences. Again, this is a gift from Google, which we are very grateful for, and this makes it very possible for us to be able to check them out. Also, this is the reason why I was able to actually check out this foldable. I didn't get a chance to check out the first one, and now I'm able to actually give you a truly experience based on using these devices. Again, the standard 9 Pro XL to the 9 Pro Fold, of course, with the brand new Buds Pro 2. Now, when we're looking at both these devices, we'll notice that obviously they have multiple cameras. They are definitely going to be considered the best at what they are. This is the best foldable that Google released for 2024, and this is the best version of the 9 Pro in essence, because it has the larger display, the larger battery than the standard one. Although there's a smaller version, again, in my opinion, you're getting more with this. And what essentially we're looking at here is a triple camera stack in the back. We have a 50 megapixel main camera, a 48 megapixel telephoto, and a 48 megapixel camera that's going to be the ultra wide. On the front, we have a 42 megapixel camera that's going to be the front-facing camera, providing us the ability of getting some of those best experiences. Both of these devices are going to be obviously featuring Google's, I would say, basically image processing algorithm. All the things, AI functionalities are going to be pretty much exactly the same, because at the essence, they're using the same processor here, the Tensor G4, that gives them the same capabilities. Both have 16 gigs of RAM, and both have the same speed storage on them, which allows them to actually get some of the best experiences. Now, when we're looking at the Pixel 9 Pro Fold here, we're looking at a 48 megapixel main camera, a 10.5 megapixel for the ultra wide, and a telephoto lens of 10.8 megapixel. You'll notice the camera experience here is slightly different, and this is going to be married into the experience in here, while we're able to actually go a little bit further on the zoom range here than what we are able to do here on the Fold. The reason why I'm actually kind of comparing these two right now is because they're technically both called a Pixel 9 Pro. The XL and the Fold is just a form factor. In essence, the 9 Pro is what kind of defines the experience. And the experience on the Fold here is slightly different, but still pretty comparable to what you're getting here. Again, the smaller form factor that we're getting here as far as the external display is very much obvious in here. So what we're looking at here is a 6.3-inch OLED panel on the front. And what we get, obviously, is, we believe, expanding that into an 8-inch display. The fingerprint sensor is on the side. It is not mounted on the display, so when you're opening the device, it stays in the same configuration. One thing to mention, though, is it does not work when the display is off. So let's go ahead and turn off the display. If I put my finger on it, it does not turn on the actual unit. You have to push it once, turn on the display, then unlock. And that's something to keep in mind, and it's reading the NFC tag from the other device. So overall, the experience, high resolution display, 16 gigs of RAM, internal storage, great. Both are now updated to Android 15. When I first received them, they were still running Android 14. And now, since Google's released it, these were among the first devices to receive it. Now, obviously, it's rolling in to a lot more devices before. When we take a look at the larger one, the XL model, it's a 6.8-inch display. Now, high resolution display, high refresh rate, 120 frames per second, again, on both of these devices. And it's going to be basically the best experience you're able to get on a candy bar style device. Both of them support eSIM as well as SIM card built into it. So in essence, they're supporting dual SIM configuration, and they have different storage configuration as well, all the way up to 512 and even more. But the biggest thing I'll probably say overall, as far as the experience that you're getting here, is it's the size of the display. So when we're looking at them in that configuration, you'll see that you're getting more of a compact edition, very nice and very thin. Some might say it's actually even so thin that it's about the thickness of the 9 Pro XL. And as you can see right there, they're actually almost as thin as each other. And that's one of the biggest differences that we get here with the 9 Pro Fold that we have here that we didn't have last year. We have a better configuration, better bezels, and of course, still the ability of holding it very nicely, but it gives us the ability of actually getting large display on the inside, smaller display on the outside, but still not compromising the experience when it comes down to having a very nice thin device. Now, it's a little bit thicker. Obviously, we're not saying it's exactly the same, but you could see how close it is to that configuration, that it is crazy thin. From a software experience, both of them are going to work the exact same. There's no difference between the two. Android 15 runs the exact same way on the Pixel 9 Pro XL as it does on the Fold. The biggest difference, again, is just more of a configuration, or as far as you can see here, is the UI element. Now, what I like about this is I'm using a custom launcher on both of them. This is Nova Prime. And what I like about it here, although there's a slight delay, when I open it up and I go into the internal display, let's go ahead and give it a second, you'll notice that there's initially a smaller form factor for those buttons, and then it just expands, and it's because it's redrawing itself. And we still have access to the shortcut bar here on the bottom with obviously the most recent application to be able to open up and run multitasking. And that makes it super easy to actually move it to the side and then open up another application. Let's go ahead and open up YouTube. And the way this device is set, the configuration here literally runs as in one phone here, one phone there. The aspect ratio matches exactly when you're using it on the outside. So it's the same form factor, just expanded to be on two displays. Of course, you have to unlock it and use it. You can change the configuration, of course. You can still turn it around and it'll actually realign into the configuration that you need it. And of course, it'll just keep it in the form factor that you need. Once you have it done, you're pretty much able to access different configuration in there, close it, and of course use it. The one thing I do want to talk about the camera when we get in here, one of the biggest differences that we have is that the Fold provides us a unique experience where the Pixel 9 Pro XL cannot. And that's the ability of using the best cameras on this device while seeing ourselves in that experience. So what I mean by this is we open up the camera application here. We go into the full display, and that's first thing, the big thing that we can do. And then what you do here is you open up this option here where it says rear camera selfie, dual screen. Oop, let's go ahead and go back here. Or of course, made you look. So when I do here, it says, let's say dual screen. Notice here that the customization of the buttons themselves shift to the bottom where the camera finder is in the back. Now the cameras are still obviously facing the wrong direction, but if I actually put it correctly on the table, set it up right, you can actually set this up now, and now you have a built-in tripod to be able to take pictures and customize them with the timers and everything that you need to do without having to worry about setting your phone or propping it anywhere. And one of the other things you could do is change it to use rear camera selfie. And what that does essentially is here, switch cameras on. It turns off the display on the inside. So this device basically becomes dark. And now everything is running based directly on here. So you can see yourself, this is the camera that we're talking on. And I'm able to actually use the device perfectly in this manner. And now obviously I'm able to customize it. You can see here all the cameras, change it. You can use the ultra wide, the main, the telephoto configuration without having to worry about it. And it becomes much easier because now I'm holding it without having to worry about doing anything to the display. Sorry, I hit the other one. So that's going to be one of the nicest things that we can do. To be able to do it with the Pixel 9 Pro XL, we would need to do it basically blindly, but after some practice, it's not that hard. But it's a nice thing to see that foldables are being used to their full extent, providing us that experience. Also, just for reference, in case you've never done this before, once you do this, actually, the phone stays in the UI element. So in case you only be able to use this configuration with, let's say, third-party cameras, this is pretty much the only way to do it. You turn it on, start it with the main camera. Once you get there, switch it off. The internal display stays closed, and this one becomes the normal. You can open up third-party applications to be able to utilize the cameras on the back. When you're done, close it down, pretty much goes back to standard configuration, and then when you open it up again, it goes back and it gives you that same experience. Very nice and very clean. Now, let's talk cameras, let's talk capabilities, and this is one of the things that kind of gets me when we use the word Pro. And when you say the word, it's a Pro, it's a Pixel 9 Pro Fold, I'm expecting it to give me the exact same experience, but because of the hardware limitation that we have on the Fold than it is on the Pixel XL, the Fold can actually basically go at the highest zoom in experience is up to 20, and of course we can go up to 30 here because of the higher quality and the higher megapixel camera. Both of them will record 4K 60 frames per second. Let's go ahead and swipe up. Actually, let's go back down. Let's go back to the video. Both of them will feature 4K 60 frames per second, but on the Pixel 9 Pro XL, we can actually go up to 8K video, which is something that I'm not 100% sure. I think the main sensor should be able to give us the same experience. I'm not sure why that is limited. Maybe in the future we'll be able to get it, but the main thing is when you were switching over to the front-facing camera, we're able to get 4K 60 on both of them. It's pretty much the same. Higher resolution camera again on the Pro XL. We're going to definitely check out some of those images and some videos from both of them. But the biggest thing I'll probably say is it comes down to what you value the most in the experience. I've used the Pixel Buds Pro 2 on both of these devices. I got them a little bit later. Team Pixel sent them over a little bit later on. But the big thing I'll probably say overall, I've tested it out with both of the devices and the experience is pretty much straightforward. It gets the best experience that you can expect from Google. You have the built-in assistant functionality, be able to actually call it out, that actually answers. Also, I love the functionality where it reads out my notifications to be able to give me the ability of responding back to them without necessarily having to basically open up the phone and, to try to do things. Now, obviously, we have it on our watch. We can definitely use it with the watch. We have the assistant there, but having them in the buds makes them a little bit, I feel like there's a little bit better there. First and foremost, I'll say about the buds as well, battery life is pretty consistent, I'll say. But the biggest thing I'll probably say is you have to get used to the fact that these buds, or the actual ear tips themselves, are a little bit smaller than what you're used to seeing. They do give us the ability of basically getting that really nice fit with the ear tip. Once you have that in there, there's a little bit of a chirp that turns on, and then noise cancellation activates. Obviously, you need to have both of them to get that experience. Once you have that on, they work and they look absolutely fantastic. There's a few colors that you're able to get. And to be able to activate noise cancellation, press and hold, it activates noise cancellation. It's pretty much doing that for me right now. And to disable it, I'll be able to just press and hold. It disables it and it goes back into normal mode. Pass-through mode is actually also pretty good. They're very comfortable to wear for an extended amount of time, and that's due to the fact that they're very light. They almost feel like they're not even in there when you're using them. So just keep that in mind. But for me, it's something that I have to keep in mind to remember that they're in there. And when you put them in, make sure you use the right ear tip, and for the most part, you're not going to be disappointed. So again, the Buds Pro 2 are going to be great. They work great with other devices as well. They're really nice, and they provide us a very good experience. Wireless charging is built in, as well as wired charging. The ability of connecting to multiple devices as well works perfectly nice. Phone calls, video calls, a lot of different things. Let's go ahead and do a quick sample of the audio from the microphones. I went ahead and switched over to the Buds themselves. We're using the Pixel 9 Pro Fold right now, the front-facing camera, to record a quick clip to share with you guys how the audio sounds like from the actual Buds. This should be pretty much the example if you're making phone calls, video calls, or if you just want to be able to record some content. They work really good. This is a good sample of what the audio is from the brand new Buds Pro 2. To summarize the experience, as far as using both of these devices, which one do I prefer? At the end of the day, I have to say that when I first started using the Pixel 9 Pro XL, I enjoyed the larger display. This has been something that I've been using and I enjoy quite a bit. I've always gone for the larger form factor because of the fact that it gets me the bigger battery, the 5,000 milliampere battery right here, a little bit over that, but essentially a 5,000 milliampere battery that we have in there. The charging speed on both of these devices is pretty much the same. Now, this is as opposed to that 4,800 milliampere battery. Again, both of them will last you through a day. This is not an issue. I haven't had the single day where I basically killed the battery on either one of them. And I'm talking about consistently using them on Wi-Fi, off Wi-Fi, watching content, creating content, editing content on this. And that, I think, kind of gets me to the point where I'm not gonna lie, I actually shifted over to the Fold just naturally, and I started to enjoy the slightly smaller form factor on the display a little bit more. Now, we're talking about a 6.8 to a 6.3, so it's basically about a half an inch worth of configuration here, and it was large enough for me to start enjoying it a little bit more. The Pixel 9 Pro Fold has that form factor which makes it very nice and easy in one hand. It's a large enough display, it's again over 6 inches, but it still provides me the flexibility of having a full-size display, full-size keyboard, no issues. And then when I open it up, when it goes to the 8-inch display, and when I open it up on the inside display, it's like getting two versions of the external display on the inside, which is a very nice form factor. I feel like it's a nice division of labor if you want to keep it in that mind. And if I just don't want to use the larger display, I stay on the external one. When I first started using the Pixel 9 Pro XL, I enjoyed the form factor, I enjoyed the cameras. They definitely are the best that we can expect from Google. Everything in there, again, from an AI functionality, within the camera app, within the phone, all the features that we get in there are pretty much the same. That's why I'm not diving into them. And then, of course, for me, one of the biggest things I'll probably say is the fact that at the beginning when I first started getting this device, I did post about this on social media, but essentially the flat surface with the flat back, we're obviously going away from any kind of curved displays, makes it kind of feel a little bit kind of like an iPhone configuration. If you put them on the table and you just go for feel, you probably wouldn't even be able to tell the difference. And I think at the end of the day, that kind of took a little bit of the experience from me on Pixel. But of course, when you put a case, there's not going to be a big issue there. So how has it been? Which one did I end up staying with? Ultimately, I ended up staying with the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, and that's purely because of the functional options that we get there. Yes, the cameras are not exactly as good as the Pixel 9 Pro XL, but they're not bad. This is still using Google's entire ecosystem, algorithm, and of course post-processing. So the images are not going to be disappointing. It's the reach that you don't get as much, and the camera quality on the ultra-wide and the telephoto are not as great. I feel like if you live in the main sensor, pretty straightforward. You can use it for video, you can use it for obviously images, and you're also able to see yourself when you're recording with the best cameras on this. Recording audio with Bluetooth also makes this very nice for content creation. You can hold the phone down, open it up in that tripod mode, standing up, or putting it sideways, and you're ready to go. So it's very versatile. Something like that on the XL, it's a little bit harder because I have to find something to prop it. The other one, pretty much straight out of the box, I can do it, and of course use it very straightforward there. So for me, at the end of the day, I'll probably say is that the Pixel 9 Pro Fold is the better device of the two. It's not the best spec-wise between the two, but I ultimately will say is it's going to come down to what you need to use. If you like a candy bar style device, I think the XL model is going to work great for you. If you like the foldable experience, I think the Fold not only gives you that experience, but it kind of covers 90% or 95% of what the XL has, with some minor compromises when it comes down to the specs on the camera. Again, we don't have 8K recording, we don't have the same reach on the telephoto, but those are things that you kind of have to figure out which one is more important to you. Again, at the end of the day, my goal is that this video sheds some light on the subject for you and helps you make the decision which one is the right device for you. Is it the 9 Pro XL, the large display, large battery, best cameras that Google has to offer for 2024, or we can get the best foldable experience on the Pixel 9 Pro Fold from Google, again in the same similar form factor in the sense of slightly smaller at the 6.3 inch on the outside, but it opens up to an 8-inch display. That's something that the XL can't even touch, with a slightly smaller, different experience here again when it comes down to the camera. So thank you very much to Google for allowing me to check this out. Thank you to Team Pixel, Google for sending me out not only the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, the Pixel 9 Pro XL, as well as the Buds to be able to check out and share with you guys my experiences. It took me some time to be able to kind of get a good understanding which one is going to be my favorite, which is the device I'm going to keep using. And at the end of the day, I feel like the 9 Pro XL is a great device. It's just the flat size changed my experience. Like I was so used to the 8 Pro for the longest time, and I feel like now the Fold provides me that unique experience that gives me the access to Google services as well as everything that I've wanted in the past. So with that being said, like and subscribe as usual. Thank you very much for the support. I will see you in the next video.